Okay, I've had a couple of different people suggest that I make a video on how to make signs for street ministry. Stuff that can hold up to the weather a little bit, that's not too expensive. Now, it's not all that difficult, but there's a little bit of a philosophy that we use in making signs. I mean, to start with, you have to be able to do the lettering, and sometimes that's a challenge for people. So normally what I do is I just lay out a few lines. First I write a message on a piece of paper, figure out how many words I can get, in a particular space. And then I lay it out on this big poster board. We lay it out on the poster board. And then I use Sharpie markers. And there's a lot of different kinds of markers you can get, different sizes. But I suggest getting good ones. Get the Sharpies. Don't get these cheap marks a lot. Some of these, the ones you get from the dollar store, the ink is really kind of weak. It's kind of like tea, and it doesn't hold up very long. It starts fading out in the sun. So, but one of the things that we try to keep in mind is we put two different colors on our signs. And the reason for that is when you flip it around, it's very obvious that they're looking at something different, okay? So normally we'll be at an intersection where the traffic might be flowing 35 miles an hour when the light's green, and then the crossroad might be, 25 miles an hour or whatever. And so you have to keep in mind how fast people are moving. And if they're moving very fast, they're not going to be able to read a whole lot. So we try to keep one side of the sign with no more than 6 to 8 words. Okay, so 6 to 8 words, if you're sitting at a red light, you have time to read it. But if you're flying down the road at 35 miles an hour, you're not going to be able to read more than 2 or 3 words. So we keep it real simple. Here's one: be a hoe, no mow. Okay, sometimes people have to think about that a little bit to figure out what it's about, but if you're a hoe, you probably know what it's about. Okay, so we start with the poster boards. And then I cut these lath pieces of wood strips. This here is a recycled one. And what's happening here is I'm recycling the wood from a sign that got tore up by some rowdy hoes. They tried to tear up a bunch of our signs here a few days ago. And they actually came in, they'll rip them out of your hand sometimes. But, so it's 22 inches across the top, and from here to the other end, it's about 50 inches. If you make it any more than that, the wind will either break it, it's just got too much leverage when the wind starts blowing. If you make it any shorter, you don't have enough to hang on to. So there we have it, a sign that cost about $3, $1 per page, and whatever it costs for the wood. You could sometimes buy the lath at the hardware store. I just took a 2x6 and run it through the table saw a few times and made these, so whatever it takes. Okay, as you can see, we have a method to our madness here. Lots of glue in there, lots of glue on this. And stick another tube on there, another stick. Okay, let's line this puppy up, hold it down for a few minutes. We've got a little knot hole right here, we can probably shove some glue into it. Okay, second verse, same as the first. Okay, make sure everything's going to line up okay. Looks pretty good. So we'll start by putting some glue on here. And line that up. Gotta do it pretty quick because it hardens up pretty darn quick.